So today we decided to talk about a couple true crime stories.
True crime.
Because I love the true crime. Like, I don't love what people do, but I think it's fascinating.
I'm trying.
We're not going to do these all the time. We just thought we'd try. So ready, set,
let's get weird.
Okay, bye. Jello, I'm Ash.
And I'm Lynn.
And this is Only If You Can Keep Up. That was good. That was like
smooth like butter, baby.
It was like, what's it called? Not pitchy, happy. I don't know.
Harmonize.
I guess. I don't know. Anyway, true crime. You're going to go first.
Okay.
Ready, set.
Okay. So I don't do a lot of true crime. I don't know a lot about serial killers, true crime stuff, but I am trying here. So I just picked one that I hadn't heard of.
We're dipping our toes into the water, and she doesn't know if she likes it or not. I, on the other hand, am like fascinated and did 20 pages of research.
I did get into research, it's not my thing, but I do, I know your basics. I know your big guys, your Bundy and,
right.
you know.
They're just the ones who, like, I don't know, set the tone.
Yeah, and the psychological part of it all is very...
There are some people who are so much more fucked up than even, like, Bundy and Gacy and all of them. Oh, my God.
I found that after reading about a few, I'm like, oh, these, don't even compare.
And every single one of them do is absolutely fucking horrible.
Right. Now, like I said, the psychological part of it all is really interesting.
Right.
But when you get into the details of what they did and all that, that's when I'm started But I love medical stuff, and I love, blood and stuff doesn't bother me. But when I hear about people being mutilated, that kind of stuff, that's when I'm like, ugh. Okay. But
see, I feel like super sad for them, and for some reason my brain always tries to go back and be like, okay, so why? Yeah. Why did you feel like you had to do that? Like it matters to anyone what my brain thinks, but just what
again with the psychological part of it,
yeah.
What makes their brain
creates a monster?
Right.
What formula had to add up?
Yeah.
E equals MC squared.
Right.
No, what did you have to happen in your childhood, in your life, your head trauma to make you feel or do these things?
That's the part that really...
It's interesting. It's... I don't know.
So I picked one that... I'm sorry. I keep getting stuck in yawns. One that I'd never heard of. I'm sure you have. I'm sure that anyone that's into this has heard of him. Gerard Schaefer.
Okay.
He's the killer cop, or some called him the hangman, the butcher of Blind Creek. He was a police officer who brutally murdered, they think up to 30, maybe more, young women.
He was a cop.
He was a cop in Florida.
I don't know if I've heard this one.
So, Gerard Schaefer, he was born in 1946. Gerard John Schaefer Jr. He was said to have a really rough upbringing, of course. His dad was an alcoholic.
Well, not all of them.
He started really young with weird shit.
Like what?
Well, he said he grew up in an abusive home, alcoholic father, and he would do things by age 12. He would tie himself to trees and masturbate and then self-harm. He'd wear women's underwear and masturbate, and then he'd peep in people's windows. He'd kill animals, mutilate animals, things like that. So he was weird from the beginning. He had issues at a young age. They never said it. I couldn't find exactly what his diagnosis was, but he was known to most likely have antisocial personality disorder, which what we've mentioned in the past is very common for serial killers to have. So he could have been sociopath, he could have been psychopath, but definitely had some type of personality disorder that caused, and maybe it got worse because of his traumatic upbringing, but he started very young doing very strange things. But on the outside, he was a police officer. He was a teacher before that.
So I'm curious as to how he went through school and all that for that, because usually it's really hard for them to actually, you know what I mean, get a degree or go get a certificate or become a
but they
person
said
of
on
authority.
The outside you'd never know. He was just, every picture I saw of him, he was smiling, just this big smile.
Ooh, I'm going psychopath.
I gotta be, because I read that, one FBI agent said he made Ted Bundy look like a Boy Scout, that the things he did were on his top 5 list.
Not a fun thing to say.
So he was known to have a very high IQ. So
Super smart.
Yeah. So he was able to think things through, plan things out, pretty much get away with things. But,
conniving.
Yeah.
Manipulative.
Yeah. And could put on a show. So, right. He started as a teacher. I believe that was in his younger years. He was let go because of, I don't know if it's like insubordinance or just some kind of behavioral thing. Something he did that got him in trouble. I didn't get what it was. But after that, I read that he had tried to, get into, be a priest, but they rejected him because they said he wasn't holy enough or his morals weren't.
Well, I would, I get
even though they didn't know any of this about him, they still, But
I mean, some people do be just knowing.
Yeah, but it's like he tried to pick the best possible. He thought he was some kind of saint.
Well, probably for the reason of no one's going to blame a priest.
True.
No one's going to blame a police officer.
Yeah, thinking if I could be, one of these highly respected positions.
Right. And what year did you say? Did you say a year yet? I
haven't yet. Okay. And the killings, they believe, started in 1972. So he was from Florida.
So long time ago.
Yeah, this was back in the 70s. He died in 95. So up until, 1972 in Florida. It started with two teenage girls, Georgia Jessup and Susan Place. He did end up receiving 2 life sentences. He was convicted for those. He was charged eventually with, I believe it was, they suspected he was guilty of up to 30 killings dating all the way back to 1969, but they couldn't prove them. He would do these things where he'd confess and then he'd retract it. Confess and retract it. But then he'd have these stories of why he was So
he wasn't a cop this whole time.
No, he became a cop later after he was a teacher. So I believe in the 70s he became a cop. And some people think he would use his badge to lure people in and trick them. His main thing was hitchhikers, teenage girls that were hitchhiking. And there were actually 2 survivors that got away. He had tried to hang them to the trees. He tried to separate them out in the woods, but they actually did wiggle free and run out. And that's how they
caught him.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Oh God.
Yeah. But he did really sick stuff. So yeah, he's a Florida police officer. He would lure in these, they believe he used his badge. Some people think he used a fake identity when he did this. But he was very I guess charming, how Ted Bundy would.
Right. Well, I mean, you're a police officer. Come here, girls, let me help you. And then shrink.
Yeah. Because the survivors, Pamela Wells and Nancy Trotter, they were both abducted, but they both escaped. They were 2 friends that he found. They were teenagers. They got away. They told the story. But the women that they actually found that had been killed weren't found until months later, and they were tied up to a tree. They were beheaded. They were dismembered. They were, So he did some he was a sadistic fuck.
Was it mostly women?
Yeah. Yeah. Women, teenage girls were his thing. And I think that's where it just got me in the gut. Right. But definitely a pedophile, necrophiliac. Not only would he...
So he did some of this stuff after?
Yes.
Okay.
So he would... Okay. He would...
Hold on. We're going to put a trigger warning right here.
Yeah.
Just
it
be warned.
It gets pretty dark and disgusting. So if you aren't into that, then just...
Fast forward or click next episode. Okay, go.
Right. So he would hang his victims. He would sexually abuse, rape, whatever. It sounded like before and after he killed them. And then he would bury them and then later sometimes dig them up and do it again. So necrophilia was a thing
He would full ass bury them and
that's
then
what I read. Yeah.
Poor babies up.
I read that on
and
multiple articles. Yeah.
Ugh, I've never heard this one. I don't think so.
Yeah. And yeah, the fact that he was always smiling just really creeped me out because to look at him, he doesn't have your typical, his eyes are definitely gone, but he doesn't have your typical serial killer stare. I don't know, he doesn't.
Right.
And to just be, he was actually a deputy. So he had a pretty respected position and nobody knew that he was like this. But yeah, he would target hitchhikers. He would bring these women off into the woods, these young, mostly teenagers. And he would do things, he would keep their teeth as souvenirs. Mm-hmm. And he eventually, while he was in prison, because they did eventually get him in there, 2 life sentences,
So he killed all those people and only got 2 life sentences.
Yeah.
Which a life sentence is like 25 years, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so he got 50 years.
Yeah. I think so. Because he was only actually, they were only able to prove a couple of them. But he, like I said, he'd come out and say he did this, but then he'd retract it. But then I guess he had a prison girlfriend, someone he'd write to.
Okay.
And he would talk about, like, I guess in his writings, his letters and journals and things, he confessed in writing up to like 80 or more women that he had done this to.
He confessed to this woman, then it was his girlfriend, that he killed 80 women.
That's what it said. And then there was some mixed information, all that, on how the writing was. If it was journals, if it was letters, but that he had put this stuff in writing. Some were pregnant, and he would make jokes about, like, does that count as 2? Oh. Yeah. And then he would... oh,
my God.
Yeah. He would say things like, oh, this one whore drowned in her own puke and blah, blah, blah. Like, he would just laugh about it like it was some story.
Like it was nothing.
Right, exactly. It was nothing to him. It was just like this fun thing he did. It's fucking disgusting. Not just sadistic, but just horrible, horrible. So the inmates obviously hated him, but he also would do things to try to, like, get them in trouble, too. So he had shit thrown at him. He had piss thrown at him. He had his room lit on fire. Like, the inmates hated him. And eventually he did end up dying in his cell. December 3rd, 1995. A cellmate stabbed him to death 42 times. Plus slit his throat.
I'm just saying, good job, cellmate.
Right. And in 2022, they were still finding possible victims linked to him from back then. That, like, they'd found years later. He did a good job at hiding things. So he also wrote a bunch of stories, like short stories. One was called Blonde on a Stick. One was called Flies in Her Eyes.
So, like, and they were, like, true stories, obviously, about
that's
how...
That's the way it sounded, like, yeah.
But he
like
would,
journal
like,
entries.
make them fiction.
Yeah.
To
sound more interesting. Really fucked up. All of it, like... Yeah, they said he became obsessed with women, death, sex by the age of 12. He was already doing... But, like, they knew, his family obviously knew he was doing weird shit.
So you said mom sucked and dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah,
so
if they weren't around
they
or they weren't involved,
didn't give a shit.
He just kept going. He just kept going. And he was able to put on a show. And I don't know. But it's... I mean, I don't really have a lot else on that. I kind of stopped on the details. There were a lot of other victims listed, possibilities, things that were done, details that were, but yeah, it was just a sick thing. So
yeah,
but
that's horrible.
He did die in a cell. He was murdered brutally. So
there's that. That's like, yay. Not yay.
At least
death
he
is horrible,
served some
but
of it, but
he killed those people, so fuck him. Like,
oh my gosh.
Pregnant
think how many are still out there, because he was just out there on the street.
Okay, if you like generally just think about it, think about how many victims are out there of serial killers that died too soon and didn't get to say it or never confessed, and all the people who are missing who could have been the victim of a serial killer or something along that. That is insane. Like, my brain just doesn't comprehend. I can't. I really can't.
It's really concerning.
Yeah, I know, right? Have you ever been driving down the road and been like, there's definitely a body in that basement right there? You know what I mean?
That's creepy enough.
That house right there, there's something happened there.
Yeah.
Okay, mine, I kind of went for it, and I told the whole story about everything, but it was only one crime.
Like I said, I ended up summing it up because it became too much with the details.
Right.
So
reach for that coffee without breaking anything. Okay. Mine is the Richardson family murders.
Okay.
It is Jasmine Richardson and Jeremy Steinke.
Was he stanky?
Well, yes, he was Steinke.
It smelled like
I'm going to say it now. This is gross. This is brutal. This is disgusting. What they did, I don't know. Like, it fascinates my brain, but that was a vibrate. That's your phone.
Oh, I thought I had mine turned. Sorry about that.
No.
That's a text
okay.
message.
So, like I said, I went for the damn thing. This is the whole damn story. Minus, I didn't go into extreme details about extreme things. Just, here and there. Okay. We're going to start with, they lived in Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. So this is a Canadian story. By all accounts, the Richardson family was normal. It was happy. The parents, Deborah and Mark, had actually suffered from substance abuse when they were younger.
Okay.
And they had both become clean, and they were just, like, living their best clean life.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Good neighborhood, good family, good friends, all of that stuff. They loved their boring life. Like, in quotes, it was boring because there was nothing crazy, nothing, you know, it was a good, happy little family. Mark was 42 years old, and Deborah was 48 at the time.
Okay.
In 1993, they had their first child, Jasmine. Perfectly normal, loving, happy, outgoing little girl. Nothing, no bad things happened to her. She went to a good Christian school. She made amazing grades. She was a good kid. Yeah. Jacob was her younger brother. He was a normal, silly, goofy little 8-year-old. He happy could be, you know, just a normal boy. Nothing crazy. We're going to start the story. Jasmine is 12.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
She's 12.
She is 12.
So this is the girl that
Jasmine.
it's about.
Yes.
She did this at 12 years old.
At 12 years old.
Okay. Wow.
At 12. This started at 12.
So she started earlier than
technically
old dude did.
At 11 is when things started to kind of, like most preteens, you change.
Yeah.
You're not that cute little Lisa Frank loving journal writing little girl anymore. You know, you go to what you're kind of going to become, essentially. You change into things. Well, she went dark. She did not change into, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, we listened to crazy music and everything like that. Not maybe at 12.
Black and I was into
exactly. Well, she did too. She simply
and
started with wearing black. She liked that. She was really, really, really interested in goth culture.
Okay.
This was in 2006. So I think goth was kind of like...
So like...
new,
right,
like not
when we
new.
were finishing high school,
It wasn't new, but it was kind of like this new interesting thing.
Because I was still into that's when my black spike bracelets.
It was becoming more normal.
Yeah.
To wear the black, to wear all of that stuff. In the beginning, she really, really liked the artistic side of goth.
Yeah.
She liked the drawings, the anime, the different, the weird, the dark, and everything. But slowly, it turned into more. It started with just, you know, the jewelry and just wearing a black shirt. But then it turned into wearing short skirts and wearing chains and wearing black makeup. She did have her own MySpace because, you know, MySpace was such a thing back then. She had to lie about her age because you had to be a certain age to be on MySpace. And once again, at this point, she is 12 now. Wow. We started with the black wearing clothes at 11, but now we're 12.
Yeah.
12. One more time. She's 12. Okay. Her MySpace, you can actually go look at like pictures of her MySpace page like right now.
Oh, wow.
It's very dark and dank. She says stuff like in her interest section, it actually says she's interested in like serial killers and blood and vampires and kinky shit.
Wow.
Yeah. In 7th grade is when she started going hard with all the clothes and the short skirts and the chains. And once again, she goes to a Christian school. So they obviously were like, yeah, let's contact mom and dad. This isn't okay. She wasn't really acting up, though.
Yeah.
Like, it was just her wardrobe change. It wasn't an attitude change yet.
Yeah.
A wardrobe change. And obviously, the Christian school called mom and dad decided not to do anything about it because they thought she's going through a phase.
Yeah.
Let's let her do it. We're monitoring her. She seems okay.
Yeah.
We're going through a phase. She joined a website called vampirefreaks.com.
Oh, boy.
She lied about her age again. I think on this one she said she was 15 when she was not 15. Her friend Kaylee, she started hanging out with the goth kids. Okay, we're going to the goth groups now, not with our old friends who play Barbies. We're with the goth kids. Her friend Kaylee, who was very bad, skipped school, had been arrested, all these bad things, introduced her to Jeremy Stanky. That is such a hard word to say because I want to say stanky. He was pretty popular in the goth world. Everyone knew who he was. He was 23 years old. He was a high school dropout. He lived in a trailer, which that means nothing, but it was a very nasty, gross,
poor living conditions.
Exactly. He had a bad life. He was abused by both of his parents. His mother didn't fucking care. His dad beat him. I read somewhere where it said his dad would come home drunk, beat the shit out of him, and drag him into his bedroom by his ears at like 4 or 5 years old. Like little bitty. He left at some point, and several of his mom's boyfriends and his actual stepfather later beat the shit out of him. All alcoholics, didn't care, shitty fucking upbringing. It is believed that he had fetal alcohol syndrome as a baby, and that like delays a lot of things in life. So I think
brain
that was a
damage
big
and some
exactly.
developmental delays.
He was bullied big time. They called him Stanky. Like that was a thing. He had attempted suicide before he met Jasmine. So he was this really sad, depressed piece of shit is what he was, you know. He actually wore a vial of blood around his neck.
Oh, wow.
I could not read whose it was, but he wore an actual vial of blood. And here's the good part. He claimed that he was a 300-year-old werewolf.
Okay.
And he went by that.
Okay. All right.
He was a werewolf. He was 300. Like, he had, like, pack members and everything. Like, it was a situation. Wow. Yes. After she met him is when we started acting out in school. We started getting in trouble and getting our phone taken away. We started getting in trouble and getting grounded from the computer and all of that stuff. She hated her parents' rules. She actually told a guidance counselor that she wanted to be put in foster care.
Wow.
Because she did not like the rules her parents had given her. Well, she's getting in trouble in school. She's getting in trouble. She's not coming home. She's doing all these things. Yeah, a parent has to reprimand you somehow.
Yeah, especially if a strict Christian
conservative upbringing.
Family.
Like, and I get she's probably rebelling against all of that in one, because some kids just do. They just take off. They don't like that life, and they go to extreme opposite. You know, like, not just like, I don't want to go to church, the actual rebellion to the max.
And I mean, with all the things that come out about certain, who knows, maybe something happened to her that caused her to, that they don't know about, but, you know.
There was absolutely no account within the school, within anything. Nobody said anything about, nobody understood why this girl changed. Okay. Like, from every account, it was a good life, a good family,
just very
great everything. And then on the other hand, you have the total opposite, Jeremy, who was brought up in actual shit. Yeah. And she sees this, and it's almost like she wants that. She doesn't want the good life. She wants the shit life, right?
And she needs that thrill or something, maybe.
Right. When Jasmine's parents found out that they were actually dating, because they finally decided to start dating, they emailed.
Yeah, that's not just a 9-year difference,
they started dating
but a
in an
grown-ass
email.
adult.
Yes. When the parents found out, they forbid it.
Yeah.
She was grounded. You cannot at all. They emailed a lot. You can actually go and read a lot of their emails.
Oh, wow.
I did not write any of them down because I didn't even want to try to. Like, they're poems and talking about death and murder and love for each other that was so deep and eternal, and just like insane like things that a fucking 12-year-old should not be writing. A, and B, a 23-year-old should not be writing to a 12-year-old at all. Yeah. Like, my love for you thrives within the veins of my soul. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. She would sneak out to go see him. He actually gifted her a vial of his blood, and she wore it around her neck.
How sweet.
Because they're werewolves, you know. Like, that's a thing. Okay. Werewolves do that. If you don't know that, all werewolves give a vial of their blood to their girlfriends. Actually, no, they don't. That's horrible. Her parents actually did at one point convince her to go to counseling, and she seemed to be getting better, because she was grounded for like months because she was just acting out constantly, not bad. They did convince her to go to like family counseling. She did seem to be getting better. Her grades were coming up. She wasn't getting in trouble at school. She really wanted to go to this concert. And her parents had agreed, since everything was going good, but they had to go with her. They had to go with her. And I don't remember the concert. It was a crazy yelling, screaming concert, you know.
Sounds like my kind of
I know, right? But maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's as far as I took it. But my hair went black, some black makeup, but I never got obsessed with death and stuff.
Eventually, at one point, she lost her parents on purpose, and they found her making out in an alley with Jeremy.
Oh, boy.
Obviously furious. She was grounded for over a month. No cell phone, no computer. She had to use the school library to email Jeremy. That's the only way she could communicate with him, because obviously he's not in 7th grade, so he can't talk to her at school. One of the emails said, this is an actual thing it said, "Rar. So I have this plan. It begins with me killing them and ends with me living with you. So are we set?" Wow. There was a lot more to it, but that was the beginning, opening. He went into a poem about how she thrives for his beating loins, and absolutely not. I cannot.
So you've got a girl who is way too mature for her age, and a boy who's way too immature, and they're meeting in the middle of their mental illness.
And he replied with, well, I love your plan, but we need to get a little, like, more creative with, like, the details and stuff. And then obviously there was more than that. That was just the main point of that email. These are actually, you can, like, read these online. Wow. It started with that email, and then it started with, like, every other email, it seems like she would beg him, are we going to do this or not? When are we going to do this? If you don't do this, I feel like we can't be together. Like, so it was pretty much like her begging.
Yeah.
And giving an ultimatum of, we're going to break up if you can't. And he lived for this girl at this point. This was his life. He was a 23-year-old high school dropout who was dating a young child, and he thought it was just the coolest thing ever, you know, which that's a problem in its own.
Right.
He was
it's
actually
one thing to have, like, an 18, 19-year-old, and you're like, oh, I got a younger girl. This is a child.
Right.
Like,
he was actually talking with a friend, Grant, and he told him about this. He told him, Jasmine she's going to break up with me if I don't kill her family. Oh. And he's like, you want to help me? And the dude's like, fuck you. Absolutely not.
Right.
He told another friend about it, James. James said the same thing. Absolutely not. But nobody contacted anybody. Nobody was like, 911, hey.
Right? Like, this is a concerning situation.
Right. Like, and it's always very... okay.
This is not just like, we're going to run away together. No.
Exactly. Okay, there was our upbringing. Here's where it starts. Saturday, April 22nd. The Richardsons had a lovely family barbecue in the backyard. They did them a lot. Happy, fun times. That day, while they were having their fun family barbecue, Jeremy got drunk. Drunk as he fucking could. So drunk that it named everything he drank. Like, the articles, I read everything. I watched YouTube videos on this. There's a book about this. Wow. Oh my gosh. Drank. Then he called his friend Jordan and begged him to help with this. He asked another friend about it. Wow. Because you could tell it's like he didn't want to do it, but he had to do it for Jasmine. He didn't have the balls
to do it on his own.
Exactly. He also said no, but he did nothing about it. He watched a movie called Naturally Born Killers. It was their favorite movie, and she's with him at this point. They watched it. It's their favorite movie, and I guess there's an actual scene in the movie where they kill her family. And they're like, this is exactly what we're going to do. You know, they took from that movie what they were going to do. Then they went to his drug dealer's house and got some coke. I read one article said he did 9 lines of coke. Another one said...
On top of already being black.
Exactly. Another one said 6, and he did some ecstasy and drank more alcohol. How he did not overdose is pure adrenaline, I'm assuming. Because how? How do you not fucking overdose? He was completely numb. Completely numb at this point. She went home, whatever. So at 4 a.m., he threw a pine cone at her window to alert that he was there. This is go time. We're going. She told him where the basement window was, and that's where she would sneak in and out of, and, like, the parents knew that. He made a ton of noise climbing inside. I do not know if that was on purpose, or if he was like just so
subconscious
fucking...
wanted someone to know that he was coming.
Or if that was just, he was so fucking shit-faced.
Yeah.
He couldn't not make noise coming in.
Right.
Well, Deborah, Jasmine's mother... She heard it and ran downstairs because she thought her daughter was sneaking out. She had her nightgown on, just ran straight. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. She was in bed. You know what I mean? She found Jeremy with a black mask, like, covering the bottom half of his face. He stabbed her 13 times.
Oh, my God. Why 13?
I don't know. That's just... It started with 1, and then I think it was kind of like a shock, like, oh, my God, and then he fucking went for it. It was a total of 13. Mark, the father, heard this, obviously, and he ran down the stairs. On the way down, he grabbed a screwdriver. That was his weapon of choice. He was running. He heard it. He heard his wife scream at the top of her fucking lungs. He ran downstairs. Jeremy says that Mark attacked him. Like, that was a big... Well, obviously, Mark attacked him. You see your wife dead. You're going to attack. And there was a screwdriver involved, but somehow the screwdriver got thrown out of the way. I don't know if he actually got hurt Jeremy at all with a screwdriver, but all accounts, even the police officers, everyone said this man fought with absolutely everything he fucking had. At one point, he actually was on top. Mark was on top of Jeremy, trying to strangle him, and Jeremy started stabbing him in the ribs.
Oh my God.
About that time, Jasmine came downstairs to see where we were. She could hear yelling and everything like that. There were some things that were said. Mark was saying, I'm pretty sure it was like, who are you? Why are you doing this? Because they don't actually know who this is,
the mask,
you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. She ran upstairs. She couldn't do it. She just ran up the stairs and she waited in the kitchen for him to finish.
Shit got real.
Yeah, no shit. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, not that real. After he finished with the father, and like I said, he fought with every fucking... A man protecting his family fought. Yeah. You know what I mean? But a knife first, nothing. Yeah. You know the knife's going to win. He met her in the kitchen. She gave him a hug and a kiss, said, I love you so much. Thank you. And then she went upstairs. He didn't exactly know what was going on. He thought she was going to grab her stuff and they were going to go. No, we're not done.
Brother.
Yes. It's a child. I'm not going completely deep into details, but yes.
Like, why did she have to do that?
He was walking up the stairs after, he sat down there for a minute, like it's taking too long. He went up the stairs and he heard Jasmine, while walking up the stairs, tell her little brother to just go to sleep. I guess she was cradling him with his neck in her arm and was trying to go that way. But he broke free. He did break free. He met Jeremy on the staircase. Go walking, you know what I mean? I don't know exactly who said this, but I couldn't find who said this. I don't think they could tell who said this. One of them said, we can't just leave him. Initially, his cause of death was slit throat.
Oh my God.
But he was also stabbed in the chest. So they think, because they found blood at the beginning of his bedroom and then all over his bedroom. And then they found him on his bed. So they think the stab was at the doorway and then the slit was later. Apparently, Jeremy says that she did the throat and just walked right past him like it was nothing.
Wow. Oh.
Yes. And she actually later bragged about that. That part.
It's worse when it's people you know and love that are close to you. Like,
my thing is the fuck did the little brother do?
Right? Unless some part of her morality was like, I don't want him to see this or have to live through this. Still doesn't make it. Doesn't excuse it. But
I don't know.
She had no remorse.
There was no point to the parents from all accounts. All they did was try to be her parent. Right. Like, they didn't abuse. They didn't. The brother is what got me. That was the worst part of all of this. That poor sweet baby. Sick. Just nothing. Just sleeping and heard his parents be brutally murdered. Because at some point you can't not hear that. Right. Like, even if it is in the basement. She told Jeremy to wait outside. She was going to grab some stuff. And then they would go to his trailer. Well, he freaked the fuck out. He said bye. He got in his truck and he drove the fuck home. Freaked out. Finally, at 5:25 a.m., she called a cab to go to his house because he was gone. He just dipped. He was. You got to think, an alcoholic, drug-induced coma, rage. What the fuck did I do? Adrenaline, everything.
Well, he knew he had to get himself into some kind of state to even follow through because it sounds like something in him was fighting to not do it. Yeah. Where she had no morals at all. Like, not that what he did, he had no morals either, but he had to, like, amp himself up to do it.
Yeah. He took a shower, they got all their bloody clothing, and they threw them in a dumpster behind an old apartment building.
Oh, that'll hide it real good.
That's smart. That's so smart. They went to Jeremy's drug dealer's house and had sex.
Oh. Wow.
Yes.
Blood love. That's...
because,
murder makes you horny. Fuck.
After that, they went to, like, a rager, like a party.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. They were all over each other. Apparently, there were witnesses saying they were, like, literally straddling each other on the couch, nose to nose, like, all night long, like, rubbing on each other, like, gross, nasty, in your face. Absolutely disgusting.
This little girl and this grown man, after they've just slaughtered... Okay. Okay.
Right. Okay. So, at this rager, he saw his buddy James Wally. He said, quote, "We killed my girlfriend's family last night. I gutted them like fish."
Wow.
And James said, "It was literally like he was telling me about the weather."
That's so fucked up.
Yep. The next day, Jacob's friend, the little boy's friend, went over and knocked on the door to the house. Okay. So Jacob, the little brother, his friend came over. He saw that the dad's truck was home, so he knocked on the door. He wanted to play. Very simple, wanted to play. Nobody answered, but he knew they were home. Cars are in the driveway, So he went around and started to look in the windows.
Oh, that poor kid.
He saw the dad in a pool of blood.
Oh, my God.
So he ran home and he told his mom, and his mom called 911. Okay.
A little late now.
Yeah. At first, they thought she was kidnapped because there's pictures of a little girl, but there's no little girl in this house. Yeah. There's no child in this home.
Right.
At first, they thought she was kidnapped. I want to say they went through her bedroom and found some concerning stuff. So they went to the school and checked her locker, and there was like, after they went through her locker, it said everything that was in that locker, but I didn't go into detail. You can look it up if you need to.
Enough to show that there was something weird going on.
By the time they looked in the locker, she was their prime suspect. Like, that's how incriminating it was. Obviously, after they figured that out, she was the prime suspect, and her face was fucking everywhere. All over everything. Yeah. Newspapers, TV, news channels, radios, everything. Everything. This is 2006. This isn't that terribly long ago. Like, under 20 years ago.
Yeah, we were finishing high school.
Exactly.
Just done with high school, yeah.
That shit spread like wildfire. Yeah. Well, James Wally, the friend that he confessed at that rager, and Jordan, the friend that he had asked to help, both went to the police station and finally said something. Jeez. This could have been prevented on so many ways. He was so nervous and so scared. He
was
asked so many people
trying to get
exactly. 2 days later, at 7:51 a.m., Jasmine and Jeremy were arrested in a parking lot. They were taking a nap.
Wow.
She was 12. She was the youngest person to be arrested for a multiple murder in Canada. God. But since she was 12, the maximum amount of time she could receive is 10 years.
Oh my God.
And that is what she got, 10 years.
And is this Canada?
Canada.
Canada's the rules.
4 of those years were spent in a psychiatric hospital.
Okay.
And then after she got out, she had 4.5 years of supervision. She would have.
Is she out and alive now?
She would have 4 years of supervision. Hold on. Jeremy got 3 counts of first-degree murder. He had to serve 3 life sentences, but he will be eligible for parole after 25 years. So this was 2006. He'll be eligible for parole in not that long.
Wow.
In 2016, she was released and free of all charges. She was 22 years old.
Oh my God.
She's out.
That's...
she lives in a secret location. During her final hearing, she offered no sympathy or apologies.
Oh my God.
She's out. She's been out since 2016.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is there any show of, like, if anything's happened since?
I found nothing. Absolutely nothing about her. She's pretty much, I'm assuming she's probably in, like, a protective...
Yeah.
What's that called?
Like a secret...
what's that called when they take you and hide you?
I'm having a big brain fart.
I am too. But you know what I mean.
Identity protection.
I'm pretty sure her name's probably changed. You know what I mean? Like, because there's probably people out there.
Yeah.
I've heard this story many, many times in many different ways.
Yeah.
I've heard it on other podcasts. I've seen it on TV. I've seen articles about it. I've watched YouTube videos about it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, it was something on the ID channel. They did a whole show about this. So this is a pretty big, especially if you go up towards Canada, it's probably bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So.
That's just wild though, somebody that young that they can be out and have their entire adult life left.
Yeah. She's 22. When she got out, like, she was 22.
Nothing of like insanity or like something that would be, you would have to be institutionalized for longer or something. Like, that's concerning.
She was diagnosed with a conduct disorder and ODD. Those are the only 2 diagnoses I could find for her. And like, I tried to look up because like, there's more to me.
Oh God, she's still so
that's
young.
That's like anti-personality disorder. That's maybe, but oh my God, what do you have to... Like this.
So if she was 12 in 2006, and she's, how old is she now? I have to think.
In 2016, she was 22. So, do that. Go from there.
Okay, what year is this? So 8 years. So she's probably about 30 now. Is that right?
About, yeah, probably.
Okay.
And I could not find anything on her after 22, and she was.
She probably went into
the protective
service.
I would assume. She probably got a new name, a new location.
Why can't I think of words?
I don't know that one either.
Identity protection. What is it called? Oh my God, it doesn't matter. We know what we're trying to. You know what we're trying to say,
right? But yeah, my thing is most there's several of these where it's like a kid snaps or one person snaps one time. It's like they had a beautiful childhood, but still they snap.
Yeah.
Why? What in that poor girl's brain? I mean, like, screw her because she killed her whole family, but like, something.
Yeah.
And literally the only thing I could find was pretty much ODD. She was oppositional.
Yeah.
What is it?
And being
Oppositional.
that young, she wasn't matured enough to get any big diagnosis, I'm sure. So it was like probably hard to, now looking back, I can probably say, yeah, she probably had antisocial personality disorder. She probably was a psychopath, or at least a sociopath.
And they haven't done that yet, right? And this is also 2006. Our labels weren't as huge as they are today.
The DSM was different. We didn't quite have the awareness of mental illness like we do now.
Like the serial killers we do, like Bundy and all them, we went back and said he was actually diagnosed with this. He was diagnosed with this in 2022. You know what I mean? Like we went back. They can
go back and make an assumption by all of the
and we haven't done that for her yet. And I think it'd be interesting to see what she does get diagnosed as. Okay, you got one more, right?
Ooh, yeah, but I don't know after all that.
Do you want to do it?
I do, but I don't know that it even compares to that.
Well, that's why it's a little lighter, right?
It's not
okay, never mind.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is.
Okay.
But also just totally different situation. This was also a female killer.
Okay.
You don't hear about them a lot, and most of the time
you hear about them a lot more.
I mean, the big names aren't mentioned as often, and I think a lot of times female killers. Now, I don't know a lot about true crime stuff, but I feel like a lot of times it's like a crime of passion or like rage or something has caused them. But there are a few here and there who just do it because they get something out of it, you know. So a lot of them were more like revenge or a crime of passion, but this was more of she was getting something out of it and she liked it seems like. So this is, they called her the Death House Landlady.
Oh.
Have you heard of her?
No.
Oh, good. I'm excited.
You did too. I didn't hear about. Yeah.
I was sure you had heard of these.
The first one, I think so.
Yeah.
But after so many, they get kind of
I tried to dive deep, like ones that
weren't.
This one
because I'm looking at your notes. I don't think I've ever heard of this one.
Well, her name was Dorothea Puente. I may be saying that wrong. Puente. She was born in 1929, so long ago.
Okay, this is
Dorothea Gray. Yeah.
Okay.
But not 1929. There's still people alive that were born then. But this one, so they called her the Death House Landlady.
Okay.
So Dorothea Gray, she had a tragic childhood. She had a sex worker mother who died of tuberculosis. And then not long later, her alcoholic father died in a motorcycle wreck, which left her and her siblings abandoned to be sent to an orphanage where she was sexually abused. So she had a very traumatic childhood, very tragic. And then at 16, she became a sex worker herself. I guess she was working at a hotel, things like that. Yeah, she didn't know any better. That's all she had to do. Like
she's trying to be like mama.
So she married a man. She started lying about her identity, and she went through several marriages, and she would tell these men that she was someone completely different, and they would believe it.
Like every marriage was a different identity, pretty much?
That's kind of what it sounded like. Okay. Because she was really good at playing roles, and she was really good at getting attention. And
so, like, she could have been an actress instead of a murderer.
Well, one of her husbands, she actually told him that she was an actress.
Oh.
Actually a doctor and an actress, and she was from a large Mexican family.
She was both a doctor and an actress.
That's what I read. That she told her husband that she made up this personality, this person that wasn't like a DID situation, like a split personality. It was just made up these roles,
scamming people. Is what it was.
To scam. Okay, so that's what we get down to. So her first marriage failed. They did have 2 children, but I read that they were actually both adopted out. One to go live with family. One was actually adopted.
So she didn't have children in her custody.
Yeah, she
That's probably for
children,
the best.
But never had custody of them.
Right.
So she started with things like writing fake checks and, forging signatures, and it's always been about scams and money for her. She wanted to live the rich life, and she appeared as if she did. She would dress in sexy dresses and makeup, and no. And one of her husbands said their divorce happened because her spending was so ridiculous. That she wanted to live a wealthy life, and she would do whatever it would take, but she would come off as, dressed in the nicest things and the best makeup, and, she really would pride herself on her looks.
Okay.
But so in 1948, she did go to jail. She did serve some time, mostly for the fake checks and things like that. And it was 2 decades full of chaotic marriages, arrests for little things like that, and just constant scamming and things like that. But nothing big enough to get real time is what it sounds like.
So, okay, I'm trying to figure out where we're going from point A to point B here.
In 1968, this is when she married Roberto Jose Puente, and she kept his last name. This is where she became Dorothea Puente. I'm probably saying that wrong. So 1968, she pretty much takes on this new identity. The marriage didn't last long, but she transformed into this person with this last name.
So like with every marriage, she turns into a new human pretty much.
Right. But with this one, it's stuck. And she did the complete opposite. Her appearance changed drastically. She went from her sexy dresses to baggy, plain clothes, big glasses. She let her hair turn gray. She claimed to be a Christian woman who's helping the community. And she just stuck in this role of like this
I feel
sweet,
like there
older...
is mental health in here.
There's got to be, right?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I never read specifically, but they think...
Well, I mean, the 20s, you're probably not going to read specifically.
Yeah. And by this point, it was the 60s. So 1968, she'd married Roberto. They didn't last very long. But yeah, she became this like, just this like kind of plain like normal Christian woman who wanted to help the community. She rented out this... She had a large Victorian home. How she bought this, I'm not quite sure. But she had this
all the
large,
scams.
Right, that she kept getting away with. So she would rent this out to anyone who was struggling with, addiction or some type of...
She would rent her house out to all these people.
Yeah, like a boarding house where she would... But not only would she give them a place to live, she would help them in ways like she ran meetings and she gave them resources.
So she actually helped people
in this new role. She was helping them.
Okay.
That was her goal. Well, that's what she told people her goal was. But not only that, she would take in their mail, and a lot of them were mentally disabled or struggling. They didn't quite know what was going on. So she would take their mail and she would sort it, and she would...
cash their checks.
Yeah, she would cash their checks and then give them each a stipend, enough to live off of, enough to do with what they needed. But she would put that into accounts of her own. She would make that her own money.
Scam artists.
Yeah. And it started like that. Okay. And then... sorry. This was 1982. Sacramento, California. Yeah. It started with, she leased a room to a friend who, quote, overdosed. They ruled it as a suicide. Her husband had died. She was in a dark place, But not long after that, there was a 74-year-old man who accused Dorothea of drugging him.
Oh.
So she was charged and convicted. She was sentenced to 5 years, but only had to serve 3 after all this going on and actually being caught. But during that time...
For drugging the man.
Yeah, drugging him, stealing his pension.
So she did get in trouble for that. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So she was supposed to serve 5, but served 3. During that time, while in prison, she befriended a pen pal, 77-year-old man, Everson Gilmuth. And they became close, and she was released in 1985. She opened a joint bank account with Gilmuth.
Like he was there? Like it was together?
Like they met when she came out, and they... were besties, and they opened a joint account together, it sounds like.
Okay.
And then not long after, she hired a handyman to do a bunch of repairs around the large home. One request was to build a large box, 6 feet long, 2 to 3 feet wide, a coffin-sized box, right? She told him it was to store books and things. But in
the shape of a coffin.
Right?
Okay.
But then she also paid this handyman $800 cash and then gave him a truck as a bonus. The same exact truck that belonged to Gilmuth. So things started getting a little weird because...
So Gilmuth's gone.
Right. Where'd he go? His truck's here. It's a gift now to this new handyman. But she talked this handyman into helping her dump this big wooden box down by the riverbank.
That he built for the books.
Right.
Okay.
And then later it was found by fishermen. It took years for them to realize that it was Gilmuth's body in there.
Because
so
we're in the,
all
60s and 80s, 70s?
This is the 80s now at this point.
How long did this woman live?
So, she's pretty old.
Okay.
Yeah, she got quite a bit of time in there to do her... She
was born in the 20s,
to do the Lord's work,
Okay. Good for her. Let's go.
So during all that time, she was still working. She had the illegal boarding house. It was illegal. I don't know how they didn't catch that she was doing, all these people coming and living here, and she's handling their finances, and so what she did was she would give the tenants either sleeping pills or she would poison them somehow, and then she would either suffocate or strangle them. So it was like a quiet ending.
So she was killing these fuckers.
Yeah. Not all of them, but many of them.
Wonder how she chose.
I don't know.
You die,
right?
you don't.
I was wondering too, like, how does she choose which?
Maybe like the amount of pensions they were getting.
I think that's what it is, because some were on Social Security, some had disability, you know, like, depending on what they had coming pension wise and like how much they, I bet that's how it was.
Right.
Either that or maybe she chose the older ones or the ones that were, because how she got caught again was because there was a man who was schizophrenic. He was an alcoholic schizophrenic tenant, and this was 1988. He stopped showing up to his meetings, and his social worker was concerned, so she reported it, and then the police came, checked out the premises. They found disturbed soil. Okay, so mind you, in the meantime, she had hired another handyman, and his job was to dig and remove soil from the basement in the yard, add new concrete in the basement. But all of a sudden, this handyman just disappeared. He just disappeared. So that's when things, again,
so what happened to Gerald
extra.
back there? He just, or Gerald,
I don't know. I didn't see much more about him.
Well,
so.
He's probably one of the victims, I'm assuming.
Right. The other handyman? Yeah. Either that or, I didn't see anything else about him. But this handyman, he did the work, and then he disappeared. So I don't know. 1988, that's when the alcoholic schizophrenic. So again, she chose one that was really not totally there. So he was probably unaware of what was going on.
He chose the wrong one.
Yeah, because someone was keeping an eye on him, and social worker was concerned enough to report it. And then that's when the police came. They checked everything out, started getting concerned. They saw that the soil had been disturbed, and they started digging, and there's 7 bodies. They found 7 bodies. They're wrapped in tarps, had been buried. And then later on, people started saying, it was a very nice, well-kept yard, but it stunk. It just stunk so bad. And now they know why. But there were 9 total that they had proven she killed. 7 bodies in the yard, 1 in the river, and 1 they think may have been in a trash can in an alley somewhere or down. I'm not sure on that one. That was...
She dumped a damn ass body in a trash can.
But at first she wasn't a suspect. They were, performing this investigation, and she was able to sneak the fuck out and run off to L.A.
I guess she dipped.
So that's when she ends up in L.A. and she starts talking to an elderly man at a bar who also has a nice pension, and he recognized her face from the news, so he called her in.
Right
and
on.
That's when she was brought in, charged with 9 counts of murder, sentenced to 2 life sentences. Never, ever did admit to anything. She just continued to say how innocent she was and how she was just trying to help these people. And maybe they would have been better off if she would have just let them be, But, all these men, there were women too, mostly men, but died of natural causes. And there was a room in the house that was cursed. And they would...
Oh, yeah, blame the
They
ghosts.
would end up sick in these rooms.
Blame the demons.
Yeah, but she did end up dying in prison, 2011, at age of 82.
She lived long.
Yeah, 82. She died of natural causes. So, I don't know.
How does she go from cashing bad checks to murdering people to... I guess I see it. She wants their money. Yeah. You got to get rid of the person.
And in her head, maybe she's thinking, oh, they're just miserable anyway, or they're about to die anyway, or she picks these ones that don't have a...
My criminal mind's brain. Hold on. Those are called something. Are they...
Like an angel of death?
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of.
Thing. Well, they say a lot of female serial killers, they do work in some type of care role, like a nurse.
Or they think they are.
Yeah. Like the ones who do the... Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I found it interesting because I don't see a lot of stuff about female serial killers.
That's a pretty good one.
And she had a reasoning behind it. But it's like she wasn't taking in totally healthy, young, thriving people. Not that makes it okay.
She's taking in people who can't care for themselves. And if they do... Oh no, they're sick. They're
I saw pictures of her, and she just looked like your normal 80s grandma. Like in the 1980s, a normal, like what I would see, like I would see and think like, oh, that looks like someone's grandma in the 80s.
That's my friend's grandma.
She looked sweet. She looked like
It's always the sweet ones that deceive you, right?
Just this little Christian lady with her glasses and her long dress, and
then she opens the back door and there's 7 bodies in her yard.
But
the
she
normal
had a
grandma.
pretty garden, so. I don't know. I thought that one was interesting. Not nearly as disgusting as the ones before, because at least she didn't do anything really like...
They're all disgusting because they're murderers.
It was all peaceful.
But...
It was a peaceful ending for everybody.
Right.
They didn't know it was coming, but still it's like, oh, I don't know, man.
Absolutely.
Some fucked up minds in this world.
There really are. Okay, so you ready to wrap it up?
I suppose.
Okay.
Not in a tarp or anything.
No, not in the backyard either. So if you need to contact us, you can do so at only if you can keep up at gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.